Hello, Stephen Kuhn here, author of Unleash Your Humble Alpha and Business Advisor. Catch me on the Jesse T Show.
Brother, Steven, what's going on, man?
Up, my man. Good to see you. Good to see you, man.
Man, it's been beautiful just journeying and talking and doing life together, man. And so we've had you on before. So
Yep.
repeat guest, and I'm sure you'll be on multiple times in the future. So what's going on in your world, dude?
Well, we were just in Mexico, about a month and a half ago.
Yep.
It seems like a world ago,
Does.
a universe ago, because I think that after we worked with Bufo, that integration phase, that period after that was without words.
Yep.
It was so incredible. I mean, I had situations where I couldn't fathom the information that I was downloading or the things that happened to me, And so trying to integrate that into your normal, which I don't think we are anymore.
Nope.
Trying to integrate that into your normal life while embracing that new I want to say access that we have to the universal hard drive. I almost would like to say, universal.
We can say it. It's true.
Yeah. It's I mean, that's what I saw, right? When I was working with Bufo, is I saw like this hard drive where I went inside, and it was like a library of all the universal knowledge, but knowing that you can't download it all at once and you can't know it. The integration part was me piecemealing things that were important for me at this time, and allowing myself access to that and trying to work with it. And I got to tell you, life after that, it's sort of nothing really gets to you, almost to the point where you're like, what? Maybe my goals aren't what they used to be. Maybe I'll just like relax a little bit. So it's like almost like a trick, right? Like we were talking about that before the show. Like, wait a second.
I've felt the same way, man. And it's it's interesting playing with the new reality, the new paradigm, because you don't want to get to a point where you're so like quote unquote zen that you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's like,
let's face it. There's a lot of people like that. I know a guy. He's the most centered guy I know, and he lives on a mattress in someone's room in Spain for free because he can't afford a place to stay. But he's super zen, and that's what Lane and we always talk about, that bridging the gap, right, between the spiritual and the reality, the perceived reality, and how do we bring those together to have one paradigm? And it's just sort of it's the cool thing about it is it's always a challenge, right? So you're always moving forward. You're always discovering. The more you learn, the less you know, and the more less you know, the more you want to learn. So it's like this endless cycle. hopefully until we discover how to have it all, right? And then go between both worlds or whatever. And so that's a cool challenge. And just knowing that there is no end point I take solace in that, because like, wow, this is a learning experience my whole life, and I can't wait. Every day I wake up hungry for that. And it's the small little subtle things, right? I mean, you're like, oh wow, that doesn't even bother me anymore. Like you're sitting there, you're like, the things that used to bother me don't even come up anymore.
Yep.
It's just, and it's, I think working with, I worked with ayahuasca and San Pedro ayahuasca for 16 years, San Pedro for 5 years, combo and stuff. And nothing prepared me for combo. I mean, it wasn't even close. So intense, 20 minutes. And that harmonica music I heard at the beginning is still a trigger for me. I literally just got to put it on, and it's like,
it's so funny. So, it's interesting. I have Ez, who is amazing leader, shaman, great guy, that led our journeys for us. And he's going to be on the podcast today at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So it's like this really cool kind of going back to the moment thing, but that harmonica, man, I'm getting like really like emotional thinking about it right now, because there was one point where I was first coming out of that psychedelic heavy Bufo DMT state, where I thought it was done, and I kind of went back in a couple times. But when I came out, he was looking at me finishing the last note of his harmonica, and then like did this beautiful thing where he like looked up to the ceiling and like finished the last note. And I looked at him and I was like, oh, like he completely stewarded that whole journey. Like he was in there with us. And like that harmonica, it's giving me chills right now. That harmonica is so powerful. And like, he just played a beautiful love song for us.
And it's so strange because it's such a trigger. Lane sent a video of him playing the harmonica, and because I couldn't remember what that feeling or what I heard in the first few seconds.
Yes.
I couldn't remember. And then Lane's like, look, I bought a harmonica. I'm like, oh my God. And he sent a video of playing it. And I got this full body sort of reaction to it where I was set back into that stance again, where I was, being elevated. I was like, oh my God, that was it. It was the exact, what he played was like the exact thing that I heard. It was incredible.
It's beautiful. He's doing that, and seeing him do that and like getting really proficient with it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah. So it really, at night, sometimes when I go to bed, I'll play the video just to get me into that state. And then I'll consciously go where no man has gone before. No, I just consciously go,
What a journey though. Just that whole trip was magic, man. And the moments from being on the beach and being in communion with each other and talking about life and business and relationships and love and just the world. And then all the intermediary stuff where we had these adventures, and then kind of this pinnacle moment with Bufo. And then we even, traveled further into Chichen Itza and did some beautiful stuff there. That was one of my favorite experiences in 39 years of life.
It was the best experience I've ever had in my life. I think because I was there with trusted friends where I could let go, and with my family, including my children.
Perfect. Yeah.
I think that made a big difference for me. But I gotta tell, I already told you this, but my wife isn't into this, nor is Ross's wife, and so, for her to go along and put up with it
pretty much
was pretty powerful. But it was the state that we were in altered their states.
Yes.
And the one experience I want to tell you is when, I was taking pictures of my wife, and she's like, you're always taking pictures. And you said to her, well, you're very photo worthy. And like that shifted something in her, because she had an issue. She always had an issue with feeling not worthy. And just those few words that you said, because we were in that space, right, changed her to the point where, like, still to this day, she's a different person, has more belief in herself. And just from that one little, and, and I attribute that to us being on that vibration, at that frequency. And so it wasn't just us going to Bufo, it was the collateral effects, I guess you could say.
Yes.
That really impressed me and my kids. And they're like, oh, where's Jesse and where's Lane? And they just remember this. And they talk about Mexico all the time. When are we going to Mexico? When are we going to Mexico?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All the time. It's almost every day.
Wow.
I think they experienced their dad and their mom in a whole different way. I was just so relaxed and zen, when I was there. So I think they really noticed a big difference.
You know what it was? It was, to tie all that together with kind of, I think the state was love. And it was this beautiful surrender, this beautiful just sense of being. That trip was very feminine, I think, in a lot of the different ceremonies we did, from cacao and the orgasmic bliss class and all these different things that we did. And then for me, and, we talk about holding the gold a little bit, not telling all the secrets to the story, but for my one big intention was to heal the world. And I asked Ez, I was like, is there any intention that's too big? And he said, no. And I said, I want to heal the world. And my second intention is to release any self-limiting beliefs, because then I can really step into that. And when I came back from my journey with Bufo, and I was really kind of at the end of it, because I kind of came out, thought I was ready, and I went back in. And when I came out finally, it was probably like 30, 40 minutes, I'd have to guess. I look at him and I was like, I know the answer. And the answer was love. Yeah. And it was like, I felt this beautiful peace. And it was something that's always been with me. Every plant medicine journey I've ever done, it's usually bringing me back around to just the answer is love. Love myself, love other people, and then just do that at scale. And there was just this beautiful way for the rest of that trip, probably for like another week or two from there. Just like everywhere I was going, I could see people lighting up. Like I had permaglow smile on my face, but like smiling eyes, smiling face, to like just warm, energetic beingness. I remember coming through Cancun on the way home, and I was on the beach, by myself, soaking up the beach. And I was walking from the beach back to my hotel room, and I was just in this state of bliss. And I remember looking at a lady, and she stopped in her tracks, pretty much stopped what she was doing, looked at me, and she just gave me this big smile back, because she was reflecting what I was putting out. And I wasn't even aware. I was just so happy. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, So like, yeah, it was just this beautiful state. This whole journey was perfect.
It's funny, love. I think I remember the first times I was doing plant medicine. I would always have tears in my eyes or cry, because of the love that I felt.
Yeah.
But it was almost like those were the first times in my life, 16 years ago, when those tears were for me, love for myself.
Yeah.
And as a business guy, right, high profile sort of business guy over here in Europe, that's something you don't go into, right? So I pushed it away for a while, but I think that is the way to change the world, but it's got to start with us, right? Yes. We got to love ourselves. I mean, freaking love ourselves. No matter what's wrong with us and what people say is wrong with it, whatever, we're just freaking awesome as we are. And it's not just words, and it's not just someone saying it, and it's not just alignment. It's true, embracing, loving, and accepting who you are completely. Because in the end, to the degree that you do that is to the degree that you can receive it.
Yeah.
You know how it is. Like if you loathe yourself to a certain degree, which I did for many years, as soon as someone got closer than that degree that I loathe myself, I would push them away or make sure that relationship ended. Right. And that's sort of like the human cycle. So, and that's almost like universe's way of saying, look, man, you need to love yourself before you can actually find real deep and meaningful love, because we're not responsible for anybody else's happiness, and nor should your partner be, because that would be leverage, wouldn't it? And leverage isn't healthy.
And also codependency, right? Like
right. Right.
Fixing you, saving you, all that. Yeah.
I've been there, man. That was
my
suicide attempt was because of a codependency addiction, I guess you could call it, I had back in 2008. And, once you realize that, the true love begins with you, it's like, it's so profound. And some people, it's some, there's some girly stuff, whatever. Yeah. It's feminine. And we need that feminine, especially guys. Guys need that feminine.
Especially masculine men that are hard to kill, men that are, Jordan Peterson talks about it. He's like, a good man is not a weak man. A good man is a guy that's, can create violence, but has it in check, and like is walks with a certain, when part of my journey, and this has been sharing my story and sharing, the scars and the wounds, and that's been so healing for me. And what it's done is not only it's brought love into my life for myself, but it's allowed other people, when I share that story, they do the same thing. Yeah. And they're like, well, if this guy can tell me he was bullied or he was, a heroin addict for a year, like, I mean, well, fuck, I can just be me.
Yeah.
And it really opens up this new level of trust and this new level, like, and I do this with clients, with friends, like, it's just everywhere I go.
Well, that's how you're changing the world, isn't it? I mean, it's you're opening doors for people through stories. And I think that's the best way to do it. And that's why our book, is sort of taken off like it's taken off. And because people can see themselves in your story, it's relatability. Is that a word? I don't know, but it's relatability. And people are like, well, shit, like you said, they're like, oh man, I can feel him. I can feel him. I know what he means. I know how he feels. And so, that's sort of how I associate, when I hear something and tears in my eyes, or, a song. I was in the gym today and a song came on. I don't remember who it was, but it was Children of the World, sort of like, close your drying eyes, close your crying eyes, whatever it is.
Yeah. Michael Jackson.
Like, the world, what?
Heal the World, Michael Jackson?
No. It was like a rock song. I think it was like I don't know, one of those 80s rock bands or whatever. And it was like, forgive us for the world that we've left behind, and just, we tried our best and kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there getting tears in my eyes going, Jesus, we got to fucking do better for our kids.
We do have to do better. And that starts with us. And it's funny, you talk about when you get teary eyed or emotional. I read this recently somewhere that, like, your soul is being affected in a good way. Like any of those tender moments where, like, you see something and it makes you kind of, misty eyed, or something your kids do or your wife or something, like these are things that, like, your soul is yearning for. So putting yourself in those positions to receive that message, because then it somewhere in your mind or in your soul plants another seed of, like, okay, keep staying on the path, keep impacting, keep learning, keep being open to surrender. And then, taking these journeys, which we both do, and our collective of people, taking these journeys and sharing them with people, and then they get what they get, and then they go, it creates ripples in the pond of life.
Yeah. And it's the collective consciousness that's going to change. It's not one person. And every time we send out a signal like that, every time, we embrace someone or someone else and allow them to open up, that's sort of like the collective consciousness, making that purge forward, I guess you could say.
Yep.
So
what's going on now with Humble Alpha, man? I know you got, like, all sorts of stuff getting into colleges, and you're basically getting movie deals. Like, what's going on now?
No movie deal yet, but let's see. No, so as most people know, the Humble Alpha, Unleash Your Humble Alpha book was turned into a college university curriculum, is now at Forbes School of Business and Technology. There's 2 other universities in America that are picking it up next semester. Now looks like we're getting into the UK university system, the bachelor system, and there's an executive MBA for the Middle East and the Far East that's coming out, where they're going to use a portion of that executive MBA is going to be our course.
Wow.
Which is pretty amazing because, you know, Lane and I are, and we focus on the intention, as you know, and not the outcome. You can't control the outcome anyway. And our intention was always to change the paradigm of leadership, right? That's you. It's on the inside first. You got to take care of yourself first, love yourself first, you know, that kind of what we just talked about. And that's true leadership, because only then can you give fully and wholly with no expectation.
Yes.
And that's the trick to life, right? No expectations unless you're verbalized. And so our intention was to change it. So we wrote the book and we're like, okay, we're going to start changing. And then all of a sudden the course came up, then the bachelor's, and we're like, of course, we got to hit every tier, right? So not just people who read books and already in leadership positions, but we got to start early so we could actually change, you know, and sustain that change of leadership. And to see it happen, we always say, once you're certain of something, you can let go of the how you're going to get there. And we did, and it's happening. And it's just, you know, it's incredible. So we had a lot of requests for, well, I don't say a lot, but we had a few requests for, hey, can you guys do coaching? And Lane and I were like, no, not really. But we had such interesting people that were asking for coaching. So we said, okay, we'll do it. And we took a few people on, and holy shit. We call it the Humble Alpha Paradigm Upgrade Advisory Program. Long title, deep meaning. And it's profound because we don't have a structured go through. We have we base everything on the book, but we don't say we're going to start here and we're going to do this. We meet them where they are and pick them up and elevate them and help them navigate their journey, right? And we help them navigate with subtle little changes that in the long term, the trajectory is going to go in a completely different direction or wider or whatever it is that you want to go. And so the Humble Alpha Advisory Program has become a group program as well as too. We're starting next week with a group from the UK. We have the single one-on-one, and we have a newer one, which is a group advisory, a one-on-one advisory program with a health coach as well. So there's 3 of us. So when someone joins us on our typical normal one, it's Lane and myself and that person. This one is Lane, myself, and our health coach, Ollie, with that one person.
Can we talk about health? I mean, because obviously you're into it, I'm into it. And I believe at a foundational level, number one, never mind business. I mean, this is talking about leaders in business, but like just to even be of service and being able and capable to be of service in any capacity, life is a hell of a lot easier if you're in shape, and not just in shape where you got like really cute muscles, but like we talked about earlier, like you're hard to kill, or you can run down the street as fast as you need to go do something. Like just being completely fit leads you to be fit in business and relationships and love. It makes everything better.
It does. And if I look back at my life where I was at the top of my game, I was always the fittest I was at that time. Like I was like right now, I'm as fit as I've ever been. You know, and it's a thing that makes a big difference. And let's face it, if you're a leader and you show up and you have bags under your eyes and you're overweight, okay, you know, equal rights for everybody, whatever that PC wording is in America now. I live in Europe, so we're not there yet.
Yeah.
You know, the PC police aren't there. You just don't look like a leader. Sorry, if you're burned out, but you know, you got bags under your eyes and you're always tired. People aren't going to. People are gonna be like, okay, he's my boss, but boss doesn't mean leader. Manager doesn't mean leader. And the question is, what do you want? Do you want that title that bad that you're going to burn yourself out, or do you want to fulfill who you really are and own your presence in life? And actually have full life integration where you're the same person everywhere with the same relaxed or easygoing attitude, no matter what you're doing.
Yep.
Because you know, through the certainty that you have and who you are as a true person, not what you do, you hear it, right? You know who I am? You know, I'm the CEO of, you're like, no, buddy, that's
fucking ego, man.
Yeah, that's what you do, brother. That's not who you are. Who are you? What do you mean? You know, so, you know, it's a sad state if you're not in shape. And, you know, I know body shaming and all this kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that. If you're doing whatever you're doing and you're happy, then be happy. But if you're leading, if you're a leader, male or female, and you're out there, and I mean, I see some women that are, you know, not models, right? But they're kicking ass. And I mean, they're leaders that scare me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're like
in a good way, right?
that good. Yeah. That good.
Yep.
You know, and so it's not necessarily about only your body shape. It's your mind shape, your heart being in shape in your mind, being in shape in your heart, being in shape in your consciousness. Like, are you aware?
Yes.
Right. Of your impact. Right. And is it flowing, or is it only like this? Let me put on this facade and move forward and pretend, you know, it's a whole, I was like this. Modern medicine, if there's cancer, they'll go in and they'll try to kill the cells, right? If that doesn't work, they're going to cut it out. Well, we're a whole system. It's all connected.
Yep.
So that's, in my opinion, that's why it doesn't always work, because they're not treating the entire, it's an ecosystem. You know, it's like, you know, the trees are bad, or there's some bugs in the trees. Let's tear all the trees down.
Yep.
You know, that's not going to fix the bugs. The bugs are going to come back and go to other trees, right? So what do? You know, and I think we have a long way to go to figure that out. But I think what we're doing, as far as I want to call it holistic, the feminine, is including everything in our lives in one hemisphere. Like, everything we do is one. It's not job, relationship, private life, my buddies, travel. No, it's one thing. And if anything showed me the power of that, it was Mexico. Because we worked, we worked together. We conversed and enjoyed each other. We had a psychedelic experience, and our families were there. And that was full 100%, 360 degrees immersion of one ecosystem, one hemisphere, I guess you could call it. Yep. That, for me, dude, that's how I want it to be.
That's the way that it should be. And, you know, as we journey and we figure out, or don't even figure out, but just kind of embrace,
receive, right?
Teachings. Receive. Yeah. Embrace these teachings and learnings, and you start to really realize the impact of them. And you talk about different healing modalities and different ways, and you look to the East, right? And a lot of things they have, like acupuncture and, you know, chakras and energy and all this stuff. That stuff is real. And even so much, like, to bring it down to, like, and I know you love to distill this, especially for business people, because a lot of times we can be out there with some of our ideas, not for us, but for people who haven't heard them. Right. You know, think about acupuncture for people listening, and they take those needles and they put them in certain points, the meridian points. Right. And the meridian points store energy. And what happens is there's a lot of stuff that's coming out the last couple of years, books like The Body Keeps the Score and all these different things, where if you have traumas, if you have negative things, if you have positive things, like, your body will hold on to these things. It starts to create dis-ease, and it could lead to cancers. It could lead to hypertension. It could lead to constant migraines. A lot of migraines and different headaches are caused by stress. Of course. And a lot of people aren't, like you taught me in Peru, and this is so beautiful. I don't know if you know the impact this had on me, because in the beginning, I didn't know what it meant, because you were downloading some information. So we're in Peru back in March 2021 this year, and we're working with a few different things, ayahuasca, San Pedro combo. One of the days we're working with San Pedro, we're in the garden, beautiful setting, the foothills, Sacred Valley, unbelievable place, the Mybergs. And you're going through your journey, and I am, and Lane as well. And you come over to me at one point, and you're like, I got something for you. Hold on. You ran into the mandala hall, and you grabbed this little stone heart, this clear stone heart, which belonged to Mark. And I'm laying on the ground. You're like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm just going to give you this message. And you, like, put the heart on my chest, and you're like, let it flow, let it go. And you're like, you feeling that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling the love. And like, I'm just like, I didn't know what the message was for. And it's funny how it played out. Let it flow, let it go. And just a quick story on that heart, before I tell you about what the meaning of the let it flow, let it go is for the people that are listening. That heart did this beautiful 360 where it started with Mark. You grabbed it, put it on my heart. I held it. I thought I was going to keep it. And then Lane, a little while later, was going through some deep stuff, and we just comforted him. You were on his right. I was on his left. We both had our hands on his back, and we were just there for him. We weren't trying to, hey, what can we do to help you? We were just there. I took that heart you gave me, and I just put it underneath on his chest as we were holding him, and that heart, did its thing. And then it found its way back to Mark. But that let it flow, let it go was a seed to where months later, I was talking to my sons and, like, teaching them how to let the emotions flow, teaching them as a male that I was never taught. This is something I'm learning on how to, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel, these are feelings, to feel embarrassed, to feel whatever, but to let it flow and let it go. And I've been teaching them. So it's funny how this stone heart keeps making its way around these ripples through time, where you told me, and I had no clue what it meant for me. And it wasn't
Nor did I.
it wasn't really meant for me in the moment. And then all of a sudden months, and I tell Lane about this all the time. I was like, let it flow, let it go, man. And that's the whole point. Like, so going back to acupuncture and going back to tapping, EFT tapping, where you're tapping different meridian points, these energies that we have, that's one part of being healthy. And then you have physical, and then you have emotional, and then you have mental, and then you have spiritual. And tying all this together, if those energy systems are in line, that's a powerful fucking force, man. And that's a healthy force.
And let's face it. I believe that the foundation of that is your physical health in this world that we live in.
Yep.
Because that's what we have. That's our vehicle. All right. So I believe that, I know it. I walk different. I talk different. I stand different when I'm not in shape. It's just the way it is, right? Yep. You feel a little different, a little bit off key, kilter. You sit down and your stomach hangs over your belt. It's just uncomfortable. Your shirt pinches or whatever. And it's little things that you don't really notice anymore because you're so used to it. But then when you have an experience like we had, and you saw how shape I was in Mexico, it's even better now.
Looking great.
And I'm hardly even trying.
Because you're in flow.
Exactly. That's the whole point, is that I'm working out maybe 40 minutes a day. 40 minutes a day. And I'm not even pushing that hard. I'm not overly dieting or anything. I'm just eating normal. And it's like, I don't know what, it's like, I'm just accepting it. Like, this is crazy. But that's, again, because we sort of brought everything together. Now, like you said, to shift into reality, I do a free coaching every Wednesday for a group of M&A guys and gals, like up to 50 people. And they know me as this hardcore business guy, M&A, we're doing an investment fund, Lane, myself, and a partner. And then they hear me talking like this, right? And because of the fact that I've gained their trust and respect in the business world, they have no problem listening to this part of it.
Yep.
And I think that also comes from that integration that we have. Because if I'm speaking different business wise as I am spiritual wise,
yes,
they'd be like, "What's this two-faced? And what do you? I don't get it. Who are you?" And so this whole it's this whole life integration process that we're constantly going through for the rest of our life. But I feel like, guys like you, Lane, me, Ross, a couple other guys out there that we know, Ezra, of course, as well. Because you remember, he's tuned in like nobody I've ever met. But he's also into commerce.
Yeah.
So he's, like he's making his money. He's setting up things, and he talks about it. Remember, he said, "If you guys need integration, let me know," and yada yada yada. So he's also in both worlds, and I think that's the way forward. I know that's the way forward.
No, it's totally the way forward, and it's this awareness of authenticity, right? And it makes life so, there's no white lies, there's no half truths, there's no tippy toeing around stuff. If you completely just surrender to who you are, and you step into that power, and you guys talk about this a lot, but it's true, you step into the power of knowing and of being and of core values and of core tenets, and we talk about love, but tough love sometimes, and this could be tough love for yourself, right? Like, and not shaming yourself, but like building yourself up and surrounding yourself. Like, there's times, especially right now, where personally, like, I'm going through like a little bit of a dark night of the soul. And so I surround myself with people that love me, but they're not going to bullshit me. And they're not going to just tell me what they think I need to hear. And if you have that loving awareness and that authenticity, and it's like you said, I don't have different aspects of my life. When I do 46 and 2, the Jesse T show, when I'm dating, hanging out with my sons, it's the fucking same thing. It's like, it's there's no difference. There may be, with the kids, I try to swear less, but for the most part, it's the same thing the whole time. And there's freedom in that, because now you're not worrying, who do I need to be over here? What do I need to say here? How do I do this over here? It's just, and people are attracted to that. People love authenticity, and it frees them. It's like, well, shit, I could do that too.
Well, they probably don't see it as being authenticity. They see it as like being relaxed and just a real person.
Yeah.
people don't consciously, oh, that guy's being authentic. It's sort of like, he's so easy to hang out with, or she's so easy to hang out with, or just always got a positive word, or never, really tries to be anything.
Yep.
Just is. And one thing I get a lot is that, like, whether you're on Clubhouse or Facebook or whatever, you're just so at ease. Yeah, it's because I'm not trying to be anybody. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just being me, and whatever impulses that I have or whatever downloads that I have that I'm supposed to share or discuss, that's what I do. So I don't sit there like when I do my lives, I have the daily purge, right? I'm on episode 715, I think.
Hell yeah.
And I don't even know what the heck I'm going to say until I turn on the camera. I turn on the camera and write some random title. Sometimes it has to do with what I'm going to say, and sometimes it doesn't. You know? I just show up and start talking.
Secret for the audience.
Yeah, right. You know, I just start talking like what happened today, and what impressed me, and what did I learn, and what did I see, and what did I feel. I just start. Sometimes it's business, sometimes it's spiritual, sometimes it's I read out of a book sometimes as well. It just depends on how I feel. And that's all because I don't have an agenda to try and leverage something or make someone do something or sell something. There's nothing wrong with selling, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I don't try to like be that person. Oh, today I'm going to sell. Today I'm spiritual.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There's no hats. It just is.
Yeah. And I think if we could get, because almost everybody I know is like that. They do, almost everybody that I know of, and all these different, especially in Clubhouse, everyone's got some kind of facade going there, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. I have a keynote speech on the, what is it, the 5th of November in Kentucky at one of the Clubhouse events, big Clubhouse events. A couple thousand people are going to be there. Curious.
Yeah. Is it going to be a clown show, or is it going to distill down to some, some authentic people doing some authentic things? It's going to be fun to see. Plus, honestly, we've just, it's depending on which part of the state specifically that you live in. Some places are just coming back online with like big mass gatherings. Georgia, luckily, has been pretty much wide open the whole time. But there's places around the country, it just getting people in a room together like that hasn't happened in a while. So I think even that alone, hopefully the longing for human connection and will create a safe container.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been lucky here in Hungary. It's been like 2.5 months, nothing, no lockdowns, quarantines, masks, nothing for 2.5 months. And so that's pretty awesome. I almost forgot about it.
I know.
Went to the hospital.
I want to forget about it.
Yeah. Went to the hospital the other day, and they're still wearing masks inside. I'm like, oh shit, I don't have a mask.
I know. I don't carry one either. And it's tough. Like I've had to really back away because I was getting inundated with people with their thoughts and ideologies and different things that are going on. It was just in my face all the time with the pandemic. And I started like, there's different like thought leaders or people that are like pundits. I just started kind of like removing myself from the daily immersion. So like on social media, like I would mute stories, I would mute posts. And because I saw myself almost kind of like looking for validation of my belief. Like if something, and how we're very much all in the same line of believing on where we are in the world. And I'll tell you, for me, the biggest thing is like, I've cracked myself so wide open these last couple of years that I feel all the energies, and like being able to sometimes not let that become my own energy, and like the sadness or the pain of the world, I feel that. And so like, I have to kind of channel that and let it flow, let it go kind of thing. And it's like, sometimes it's so fucking heavy. It's like, so it's like, I've had to really kind of like focus on the beauty of life. And like, it's been a beautiful shift these last couple of weeks. I've noticed I'm not, being fear mongered.
I have to say, for some reason, I ended up here in Hungary in a small village of 2,000 people in the middle of nowhere. And I feel like it's the right place for me right now.
Hell yeah, for sure.
And I have no stress here at all, right? Like zero. I mean, parking whenever I want. It's like I go to the store, I walk in, I buy, I check out and go home. It's like there's no lines, there's none of that stuff. And it feels like the universe put me here at this time for the work that we're doing. And so that I would have that peace. So I don't have that issue, because I'm the same way. I really absorb the world's pain and the joy and everything. So I'm very receptive to that, or receiving. I receive it really easily.
Yep.
But like you said, most people seek only validation of their own truth, right? And that's, for me, one of the biggest issues now, because they're not willing to listen to anything else.
The vision.
And so what do you do?
Yeah.
So what do? Do you argue with them? Or do you offer them a little bit of elevation? And if they take it, then you can take them on your journey. Like just an example of strangeness. So I'm drinking right now, I'm drinking pine needle tea, right? So I have spruce pine needles, boil them, put them in a container, fill it up with water. So I put like this much of the tea in there from fresh needles, and I'll boil it with water and then put it in the refrigerator. I drink it like iced tea, right? Every day. And I noticed, that I wasn't, I mean, I didn't notice that because I, I went on the diet and we went to Mexico and I was drinking this the whole time. And then I stopped about 2 weeks ago and I was like, suddenly I was eating and I was like hungry and I was binging. I was like, what the heck's going on? What changed? And I looked around. I'm like, okay, I stopped drinking the tea. Let me see if I can make it again. I started drinking it. Boom, stopped.
Wow. It's like the cravings out.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, what is this? So I looked it up and the active ingredient is suramine, right? And suramine is a, they use from the pine needles, the extract, a synthetic version of it, in suramine to cleanse blood.
Wow.
So the sleeping disease, and it's purported, because I was doing a lot of research trying to figure out what it is. One of the side effects is anorexia. Oh. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, okay.
Don't go anorexic.
Don't want to inject that. So but you have the sleeping disease. What do you want, anorexia or sleeping disease? I take anorexia.
Yeah. So, what is sleeping disease? I haven't heard of that.
Oh, the tsetse fly in Africa. It's narcolepsy.
Oh, okay. So I actually worked with a guy years ago at an internship, and I'd walk by his office, he'd be out. Like he would just, and it was because it's somewhat humorous to a degree, but then when you think about it, it's actually kind of sad because it's like he would fall asleep on a train because I was living in Boston, and like he would wake up stops way past where he was supposed to be, and so it's not a great thing to have. But the idea of it, where we're just kind of jokingly like we're at work and you just see him knock out, he's like, oh, he's sleeping again,
Yeah, well, anyway, so I'm in this men's group of 90,000 guys that are on a training journey, like fitness journey.
Yep.
And I'm pretty well known there because of my transformation. And I posted, I said, hey, can someone else try this out? Right. And so it's still going on. It's like 300 comments and 2,000 like whatever. And people are like, where do you get it? Da, 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 da. Like all this kind of stuff. As it works, I said, I just want you to try it and work. So maybe it's my head, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm dissecting it. Well, turns out suramine is a blood cleanser, which also, and I don't know if I can say this or not, but it also is used to cleanse those who have issues with spike proteins in their blood. So it's considered a treatment.
Yeah, you could say whatever you want in this episode.
Okay, so it's considered, from what I've read and what I've heard even on video, is the suramine is actually the only cure for the vaccine spike protein issue.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, I'm drinking more.
Hell yeah, you're gonna order that shit in bundles. Send them to your friends. I do. Gifts for the holidays.
I buy kilo packages of. And that kilo lasts like 2 months.
Where are you getting it from?
I bundle it. I ordered online here from Germany directly.
Okay.
And you can get it in the States too, now that I know, because all these guys are asking me but it's like, don't get the Chinese stuff or the Korean stuff, because I don't know about that. There's different kinds of pines, and not all, and some pines are deadly. So you got to be careful. You can't go out and do it fresh, because you got to clip the points. You got to roll the oil out. Otherwise it's toxic, all that kind of shit. So you go to a health food store or an herbal store, they're going to have pine needles. I use Fichtennadel. What is Fichten in German? I forget what.
So you're using basically German pine needles, is what it is.
Yeah, okay. It's literally dried pine needles, clipped and rolled.
Yep.
Put it in a French coffee press, 1 liter. I put in like an eighth. The thing's this big. Fill it with hot water. Let it brew for 10, 15 minutes. Pour it into a big container and fill it up with cold water. And
then you have a tea for a week or two or whatever it is.
No, I have a tea. I drink about 1.5 liters a day, 2 liters a day. So I brew every second day.
Oh, so you actually go through it pretty quickly. And
like this. I have 3 of these a day.
Is it almost serving as like your hydration as well? Like it's your water too? Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's also, pine needles are one of the most strongest antioxidants on the planet.
Wow.
Well, Lane, when he was in Special Forces during his Q course where they qualify, they had to eat pine needles because it was an antioxidant.
Beautiful. Get rid of free radicals.
He's like, oh yeah. He's like, oh, I know pine needles. We used to eat those things to keep us healthy.
Isn't it amazing, all these beautiful tools given to us by nature? Like it's really, we have all the tools we need before we get off the rails with things that are not good for us, like food, like junk food, processed food. Like we have all these tools on earth, from plant medicines to natural foods and just sunlight, grounding, all these things that are just given to us. If we tap into nature, you could be your own fucking doctor.
Yeah. And okay, look, life expectancy has grown, of course. That's not necessarily only because of medicine, but also because we're more aware of what happens to our bodies when we eat, drink, jump, fall, whatever. We're just more aware. So it isn't just like modern medicine helped us realize.
It's actually the opposite. I feel like modern medicine, like and you know this because we're kind of cut from the same cloth when it comes to thinking about the world and like just a global landscape. But from like politics to big media, like I've gotten away from that stuff so much. And I've even started like tapping into, guys like Ben Greenfield and, these other folks that are out there, these biohackers that are showing you how to heal yourself and get away from the standardized living that's killing people, especially in the US. 2 out of 3 people are obese.
Well, the US is horrible. The food's fucked. Excuse my French. There's preservatives. Look, just as an example, if you go to McDonald's, I'm sorry, but if you go to McDonald's, it's your prerogative. In America, there's I think 11 ingredients in the French fries.
Yeah.
Here, there's 4.
Yeah.
The other ingredients, they're forbidden here. They're illegal. It's the way there's mercury. There's aluminum. There's a fluoride in most of the water in America. It's one of the deadliest chemicals out there. It's just to help your teeth.
Yeah. Bullshit.
All of the hormones in the meat, it's illegal here. In Hungary, they found a GMO cornfield. The government burned it down and kicked the company out of Hungary.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And so, it's like, hell yeah, protect the people. Only 2% of the population in Europe has fluoride in the water. In America, it's like 85%.
That's crazy. And yeah, I've been, that's one of the last things. I've made a switch over the years of natural products and almost everything, toothpaste, deodorant, everything, the shampoos. The only thing I have now left is hair product and water. And water is the big thing. And water for me, I'm mindful of it, but I still need to convert from, I have a big plastic container, which isn't good. I need to switch over to a glass one and getting like spring water. And there's way better ways to do stuff, but I can't tell you in terms of tap water where the fluoride is. I haven't touched it in years.
No, I don't drink. We have a well here, so I can drink it, but I don't drink in other cities or wherever I am. No, hell no.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't have it, I go to America, I can smell it when I walk into the house.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you can smell. What the hell?
It's like going to Florida. You could smell the sulfur in the water. So like it's like really noticeable, especially when you get like to the middle of the state and down, taking a shower, you just smell the sulfur. And like, if you asked for tap water at a restaurant, it's common for them to give you like a packet of sugar, which isn't good for you, a packet of sugar to take out the friggin' the taste of the sulfur in the water.
No,
I promise. Yeah. If you ever go like mid Georgia down through Florida, like there's like, it's called the gnat line. Like there's like these little black flies everywhere. Like they're just this commonplace. Once you go to the gnat line down all the way down through the southern tip of Florida, the water is very sulfuric. And they give you you have to, like, people will say, can I have some sugar to kind of take out the taste of the tap water? It's crazy. So now they're getting the fluoride and they're getting sugar and they're just terrible.
Well, that's America. Fix something with something more stupid.
Right.
It's like
medicine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
take this pill for this pill, because then you'll need it for this, then you'll need it for that. And this could cause death.
Well, I'm basically a study case. I have a twin brother who lives in America since we were born. I've been in Europe as a civilian since 1993.
Yep.
Right. So going on 30 years. I'm 105 pounds, 110 pounds lighter than he is. He's had open heart surgery. He's had cholesterol, like borderline diabetes. You name it. Reactions to drugs and narcotics and all that, whatever that he gets from it. And it's just like, dude, come on. But it's so difficult, I think, in America not to be sucked into the easiness of it, because it's a consumption society.
So easy.
I'll be driving by, there's a restaurant. When I was in Texas last year, I was with buddy Chris, and we're driving like down to Dallas. And I swear, I was like, we driving in circles? He's like, what do you mean? I said, because it's always every 5 miles, there's a restaurant, a mall, it looks exactly the same.
Yes.
Right? Over and over and over. And so you're constantly confronted with this stuff. And then, trying to find organic, like in Pennsylvania, it's great because you can get raw milk from the Amish, that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of things you can do. But in the end, it's up to, it's possible to eat well in America. It really is possible.
It is.
And it makes a huge difference. If you look at the population of America, how many people have diabetes and what's, the cardiovascular issues and the heart problems. And it's all stems from inflammation, which stems from all of this bullshit that they're jamming into their gobs.
Inflammation is a precursor to disease, and really getting in tune with things like Viome and these gut health, gut intelligence companies can really show you how to heal yourself, because I've learned through the years that most disease does start in the gut physically. It may manifest somewhere else, mentally, emotionally, energetically, but but physically, a lot of times it'll stem from the inflammation that starts.
We got to remember what you're doing is right, because most people be like, oh, I'll just take the probiotics and keep eating McDonald's and all this other shit. It doesn't work.
No,
it's one system. And you know, I mean, there's Jesus. I remember when I got out of Iraq. So I had the anthrax shot. I had the hemoglobins.
Damn.
We were poisoned with sarin and cyclosarin nerve gas. That's why I have a disability. Partly, it's 70% of my disability is because of sarin and cyclosarin nerve gas poisoning, documented. And it took for 10 years straight. I took about 25 to 30 herbs a day, and depleted uranium, the whole works. I got tested. I had depleted uranium, all this residue in my system and my liver and stuff. It's gone.
Oh yeah.
I did it myself in 10 years when I was working with Olivia Newton-John. She had a company and with her husband, Amazon John, in the Amazon, and they sustainably harvested herbs from the Amazon with the Shipibo Indians and gave 10% back to them to buy their own land in the Amazon.
Wow.
So they actually own their own land there now. And they would ship the herbs up to America raw, wouldn't fumigate them on the border. So they had to sit in the border for 45 days. Otherwise you can fumigate them and send them right in. And they only produced these liquizons. They were like capsules made out of plant cells. So even the bottles were plant cellulite. And it was so powerful. One of these liquids, it was like a liquid tar was in there, fluid tar.
Wow.
One of these things would blow your mind. And I did that for 10 years to heal myself from all of the toxins and stuff. And in America, you see a lot of people with jowls, like thicker necks and stuff.
Yes.
I always wondered what that was, because I see that a lot. And I told my brother, stop eating any kind of meat but organic grass-fed, whatever it's called, right? Nothing with hormones. After about 2 years, his jowls went away. And just for some reason, I felt like, okay, maybe the hormones are, they're storing themselves here around the chin and the throat or something in the glands. And it worked for him. He stopped, and that stopped. So I don't know. There's all kinds of things. Like, I'm always assessing, and like I said, the pine needle tea, why does it work? Why am I losing weight? Why does it, yeah, this kind of stuff. Then it turns out it's like great for spike protein. Like, wow, this is a trip, man.
You're biohacking, dude.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
And I'm going to call myself the accidental biohacker.
You should. And by default, you just start this movement. You tie it into Humble Alpha. You get the biohacking. You heard it here first. We just created a whole new fucking shift.
The accidental biohackers. Yeah, exactly. I can't even say it. Biohackers.
Oh yeah. It's just living intentionally, right? The intentional. And listen, I'm not perfect about it. And I don't need to be perfect about it, but it's like 80-20. It's like 80% of the time being mindful, doing the right things, movement, putting our body.
Man, we all have weaknesses. Gummy bears, dude.
Love gummy bears?
A life without gummy bears is not a life.
Who wants to live that life? Gummy bears. I would have never guessed. That's an interesting.
Well, here in Germany, they're a little different than they are or here in Europe, they're a little different than they are in the States.
What's the difference?
They're not as sweet.
Okay.
They have, as far as I know, they have different ingredients. So there's, I don't know. Different. It just tastes different. I don't know. Maybe it's me, but it tastes different. And there's also different kinds here than there are over there.
There's different kinds here too. The kinds that will send you on some different journeys.
Oh yeah. I had one of those once.
Did you?
Yeah. When I was in Texas, they didn't tell me. They said it was an edible, and they're like, here, it was like this long. And I was like, oh, it looks like a gummy bear, like, little sparkles on it or whatever. And I just threw the whole thing in my mouth. They're like, no.
Right.
I was like, what? I ate the whole thing.
That's a rough
trip. And they're like, yeah, no, it was horrible.
Yeah, it was awful.
I was in my chair hanging off the side like this. And I couldn't move. I had to go to the bathroom. I'm like, I can't get up.
I know, you were telling me that story. There's Rogan, he in one of his comedic specials that he has over the last few years, he talks about, because he's a big advocate of just weed in general and how it's helped him so much.
I don't like weed at all.
I can't stand it because it makes me anxious. It makes me stressed out. Like, I don't like the way it makes me feel. But for him, he loves it. He talks about how he got gummies for the first time and he threw the whole gummy bear down, and the guy's like, you ate the whole thing? He's like, you should have only eaten an ear. like just a small portion of it. It was like he went on this fucking crazy shit show for hours. Just like it was one of the worst times of his life.
Yeah, I know. That was sort of like, I vomited twice after that. Right after that, I was vomited maybe like an hour later, twice, and then I passed out in bed. And I woke up the next morning, I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, I don't want that.
Cannabis, THC, all that stuff, CBD, it's a derivative of different parts of that whole kind of plant, but that's a plant medicine in itself. And some people use it for, I've seen, I don't know what the disease is. It could be, maybe
autism. They use autism.
Autism, ALS. There's another one where it's like they have the motor function is like they're spasming all the time.
Yeah.
And then I saw this guy smoke a joint on YouTube. Yeah. It's on YouTube, and all of a sudden,
Epilepsy.
like
I saw
he goes from like uncontrollable, can't speak, to sitting down, having a full blown conversation with you.
Yeah. Epilepsy.
So it helps a lot of people in different ways, but for me, man, I'd rather not fuck with it.
No. Well, I mean, there's one company, OYI Energetics from OYI, California. Will Clyden is the owner. They have water-based CBD. And I was like, whatever, it doesn't work for me. I don't like it. It tastes like shit. It tastes like tobacco. And he's like, no, just try it. And he does like a bell curve. So he puts it on your tongue, starts dropping this. He's like, is it sweet or is it bitter? I'm like, bitter. He keeps going. Tell me when it's sweet. Okay, it's sweet. Okay, it keeps going. Tell me when it's bitter. Okay, it's bitter. Okay, stop. You're good. Like, what do you mean? He goes, that's the bell curve. So it goes from sweet to bitter to sweet, or bitter to sweet to sweet, to bitter to sweet to bitter. And then you're good. And I swear to you, structural issues with my neck. You see me cracking it all the time, right? It's like a tick that I have because I have scoliosis really bad. Took the pain away in like a minute. Incredible. I was like, get the fuck out. How did that happen? And so I'm the biggest fan of only his product. Only his product. Now there's another product coming out from another guy that I know. It's not on the market yet. It's with nanoparticles. And so it's a clear CBD, has zero taste, and it's got like 15 times the potency as a normal CBD because it's nanotechnology. So I'm like, curious what that's going to be like. Yeah, it's just exploding.
You'll have to let us know. So yeah, it's interesting how we think holistically versus like the sick care system in the United States, where it's like, oh, you don't feel good, here's a pill. Oh, you don't, versus, and the pill doesn't fix you. It masks the symptoms. It masks the pain.
Modern medicine is about dealing with one. It's like if a plant is sick, you don't just tear off one leaf and say, oh, now it's better. You have to, the soil that it's in, you have to, look at the plant. Are there bugs? But they don't do that with us. Like they're like, okay, heart problem. Okay, let's cut out this and put that in this. And well, where did that heart problem come from? Or, where's the longer trail come from? Or where are you eating right? Are you living right? Where do you live? What do you eat? It's like all these things that most people are too lazy to go through. And I'm sorry, I don't want to insult anybody, but most people are too fucking lazy to take care of themselves. And I'll tell you this before we go, I'm gonna tell you this is that you have one responsibility in life, one responsibility that's paramount to everything. And that's to take care of yourself. It's to take care of you. Like you have to take care. It's the why in airplanes, put your mask on first, then put your kid's mask on, or you're going to pass the fuck out. You can't help anybody.
Yep.
Right. And so that's your one mission in life. If you have any missions at all, that comes after that. Right. And that is take care of your fucking self, man. The most important appointment of the day is the appointment with you. That's it. You do that, your life's going to change.
Love it, brother. Love you, man.
Love you too, bro.
Can't wait to fucking do another
I know.
A journey, expedition, travel in the world, man. We've been around the world together in just a short amount of time, from Peru to Mexico, and who knows what the next few months are going to hold, man. But I love you. And
who knows?
All the good love, man.
We got to do something here in Europe. There's some really nice, really interesting places that are popping up on my radar now for plant medicine journeys.
I'm in. Just let me know.
All right, brother.
All right, brother. Take care, man.